The next concept we're looking at when we talk about hypothesis testing is what happens when we're wrong. So there's two possible outcomes when we do hypothesis test. Either we disprove the null and have proved something and can statistically say that we're confident that the true population mean is less than 20, or we're confident the true population mean is more than 20 or different than 20. If we're right, and that is true of the actual population, we've made a correct decision. If we're wrong and we rejected a test when really the true situation tells us we shouldn't have rejected, that's one way we can make an error. That's called a type 1 error. So type 1 error, we reject the null when in reality the null was true. The second thing that can happen is we can fail to reject a test. We can say, no, there's not statistical evidence to prove the alternative. We either need to go back and do a new experiment, or we need to decide that maybe we can't prove what we set out to prove. If we're right about that, that's a good result. We tried to prove something that was unprovable and we walked away. But we also could make an error there. It's possible that we got a sample that just didn't allow us to prove something that really is true of the population at large. In that case, we're making a type 2 error. If we fail to reject a null hypothesis that's actually false. So our goal here is to diagnose which of the types of errors have happened in each of these scenarios. Really, the key thing to remember here is if you rejected the null in error, that's a type 1 error. If you failed to reject the null in error, that's type 2 error. So the first one, number 6, says the vet rejects the null and determines that our patients wait more than 20 minutes on average. In reality, they wait 20 minutes. So in this case, the error that we made was we rejected a null that was actually true. That's a type 1 error. The developer fails to reject the null and has no evidence the proportion is different from 60%. In reality, it is 75%. So here, we fail to reject. When you fail to reject, the only type of error you can make is type 2. We failed to reject, we should have rejected. Number 8, the doctor fails to reject the null. In reality, the average patient pays $400. So here, the alternative that they were trying to prove was that the average patient paid less than $500. Based on the sample and test that they ran, they couldn't prove that. But in reality, if you looked at all the patients the doctor cares for, the average bill is only $400, which is clearly less than $500. So the doctor must have taken a sample that had more of his expensive clients in it and gave him a false sense of not being able to reject the null. Again, the key words here are because it says fails to reject and we made an error, it's a type 2 error. For number 9, it says the architect rejects the null that adding a bathroom will cost $10,000. In reality, it does cost $10,000. So again, the key words here, reject the null. We rejected a null that was actually true. That's a type 1 error. Finally, the sports team rejects the null that 80% of fans who attend game 1 attend game 5. In reality, it's less than 80%. Again, they rejected a null that's actually true. That's when we've made a type 1 error.